Soy mexicano, esta es mi bandera, yo la levanto por donde quiera, verde, blanco, rojo hasta que muera. Noche UFC 306 atmosphere is ahead of us, and I will give you my prediction for the main event in this video. Hello and welcome to Bloodsport MMA.
Assalamu alaikum.
Merab Dvalishvili faces Suga O Malley, the reigning defending UFC Bantamweight Champion, in the main event at the first and probably last event ever at the Sphere in Las Vegas. Now this fight is highly anticipated because it's a clash of styles, as if you've ever seen one, like a typical hardcore wrestler who just comes forward shooting for the legs for their life, against a striker that is a sniper from the outside, doesn't really brawl too much, doesn't engage in too much nonsense, keeps it clean from the outside. Beautiful footwork in O Malley, right? The cool thing about this fight is that both those guys seem at least to be in their prime. Of course, Merab is a little bit older than Suga, but other than the age on paper, Merab looks like he's completely in his prime right now. Suga looks like he's completely in his prime right now. With those two different styles, looks like a very fun fight to me. I think, look, let's not make any secret about it. If Merab Dvalishvili manages to stay alive inside that octagon for more than 2.5, 3 rounds against Suga O Malley, it gets very, very dangerous and bad for Suga, because the later this fight goes, the deeper this fight goes, the higher the chances for Merab are, because Merab has a gas tank for years. Of course, Suga O Malley just did 5 rounds against Chito, where he literally used him as a punching bag, which is pretty exhausting, striking so much. But you have to see, first of all, he was a little bit tired afterwards, which is completely normal.
It's normal. Come on, guys. It's normal.
But Merab is a different animal. Merab does not get tired. And the thing is that it's much more tiring to defend takedowns the whole time than to just strike, because Chito didn't really attempt any takedowns. And Merab, I can guarantee you, will attempt takedowns. I don't care how much Merab says he will only strike with O Malley, he will shoot for takedowns. He will 100%, and that gets you very tired, especially if you're not used to defending him. Of course, he's used to defend him because of the training camp and all of it, but his body overall it's not a wrestling body, you know what I mean? He's a striker. He can strike all day, but he can't defend takedowns all day, probably. So this could be a problem. But this is only a hypothetical case, because you have to see O Malley is phenomenal at keeping distance. He has great footwork. Look at the fight against Aljamain Sterling, how he kept him at distance the whole time, even though Aljo has more or less the same reach as O Malley. Aljo is much taller than Merab, much longer, no diddy. So if he can keep the distance against a guy like Aljo, that suggests to you that hypothetically, most definitely on paper, like Anthony Smith would say, he can also keep Merab at distance. Now Merab, of course, is like a pit bull, which definitely factors into the equation, right? That Merab has a much more reckless style than Aljamain, which on the other side though can also be an easier fight for O Malley because of it. Because you have to see, when did Aljamain get knocked out? When he rushed in. What does Merab do all the time? Rush in. Aljamain Sterling is a much better and cleaner striker than Merab is.
You suck. Boom, roasted.
Suga found the opening with the first real strike that Aljo ever attempted. And just look at the last fight. You want to judge people based on their last fight, right? Look at Aljamain Sterling and the Henry Cejudo Merab Dvalishvili fight. I mean, first of all, Henry Cejudo caught Merab, right, in the clinch. Also, Marlon Moraes caught him with the exact same left hook. But look at how Merab approached the fight. And of course, hey, I don't say he does the same against Suga, but old habits die hard. He just rushes into you. His strikes are not beautiful. He throws spinning kicks with no defense. He just throws 1-2 overhands with his hands down, his chin up, just like he's just a madman in there. And a sniper like O Malley in the big cage, it's the big cage, not the apex cage, it's the big cage.
It's so big.
You don't want to do that against him. He will circle around you, keep his distance, you will rush in, boom. You know what I mean? Similar as he did with Aljamain. And what you also have to see is, yeah, Merab is a phenomenal takedown artist, 100%. But how does Merab get his takedowns? If you watch his fights, normally Merab gets the vast majority of his takedowns within close range. He likes to make it a brawl, right? He comes close to you, makes it a brawl, and then out of nowhere, pop, snaps the leg or goes for a double or whatever. And that only happens because the other fighters allow him to throw down with them inside the range, which Sean O'Malley will never allow him to do. Merab until now has faced guys with the same height and size as him, more or less at least, that are not the craziest strikers with footwork from a different planet. Sean O'Malley is that guy. Sean O'Malley is, or until now was, able to keep everyone more or less, maybe other than Piotr Jan, who is a next level striker as well, at distance. So the chances that Merab gets to that close distance, especially early in the fight, is not that high in my opinion, unless he has a perfect game plan. He will, not like Aljamain, who was very patient, he will rush in. Merab, I think, is a guy a little bit like Michael Chandler, who he's just so excited and there he just wants to throw down. Merab will not just be hesitant and just follow O'Malley, stalk him a little bit and not throw anything like Aljamain did. Merab will chase after him like a pit bull and try to knock him out and try to throw 500 strikes whilst simultaneously shooting for a takedown. And that plays perfectly into Suga's cards in my opinion. So I believe that Merab will early on in the fight chase Suga down, maybe even thinks, let me strike with him for at least like a minute or 1.5 or whatever, to give him a feeling I will strike with him to then shoot for the takedown, which would actually be smart in a way, but it could end pretty bad, and I think that's how it will end. I think Sean O'Malley will catch Merab in the first round. In the first round, Merab will be catched by one of Suga's right or left hands, as he always says. You can choose which one you get knocked out with and knock him out. So we have Suga Sean O'Malley by KO round 1. I do believe it will not be a cold KO, even though that would be crazy, but I think he will knock him down, follow him with ground and pound, similar like Aljamain, like an Aljamain fight, and win and still be the champion. Write your opinions in the comments, you guys. What do you think? Who do you pick in that fight? By what kind of method, decision, submission, whatever? Write in the comments, you guys. I would appreciate that. Check out the Bloodsport merch, bloodshop.net. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, guys. Thank you so much in advance. Stay bloody. Until the next one. Bye-bye. Bloodsport out.